Welcome back to my channel Pocket Change Coins. If you're into finding hidden gems in your spare change, you're in the right place. Today, we have an exciting topic for you, especially if you're a fan of rare and valuable coins. We're diving deep into a coin that might be sitting right in your collection or hiding in that old jar of change, the 1951 United States 1-cent Lincoln penny. At first glance, this might seem like just another penny, but trust me, it could be worth far more than its face value. If you've got one of these in your possession, stick around because you might be holding a real treasure. The Lincoln penny, one of the most iconic and recognizable coins in American history, has a legacy that stretches all the way back to 1909. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a portrait of a president, President Abraham Lincoln, to be specific. The 1951 Lincoln penny is part of the ongoing series that has graced U.S. currency for over a century. Over the years, the design has remained fairly consistent, with the obverse showcasing the profile of President Lincoln and the reverse displaying the famous wheat ears design, which was used until 1958. However, 1951 was a significant year in the history of the Lincoln penny. It marked the post-World War II era, where the U.S. was experiencing a period of economic growth. The U.S. Mint produced these pennies in large numbers, with the goal of meeting the growing demands of the American economy. Yet, despite the large mintage of these coins, finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition today is becoming rarer and rarer. And when it comes to rare coins, condition is everything. So, why does condition matter so much? Well, coins that have been carefully preserved, without any signs of wear and tear, are highly sought after by collectors. In fact, a 1951 Lincoln penny that has been kept in mint condition can fetch much higher prices than one that's been heavily circulated. Coins that show little to no signs of handling are rare, and collectors are always on the lookout for these pieces. And the best part? These pristine pennies can be worth far more than just their face value, but there's another factor that can significantly increase the value of a 1951 Lincoln penny: minting errors. During the production process, mistakes can happen, leading to rare and unique variations in coins. For example, you might find a 1951 penny that was struck off-center, resulting in a coin with an uneven design. Or perhaps a penny was double-struck, leading to blurry or overlapping features. These minting errors make the coin stand out from the rest and are highly prized by collectors because they represent a one-of-a-kind flaw in the manufacturing process. Minting errors can be the key to unlocking the real value of a coin. A coin with a rare minting error, especially one that is in excellent condition, can attract significant attention from collectors and numismatists alike. So, if you happen to come across a 1951 Lincoln penny with any interesting variations or errors, you could have something incredibly valuable on your hands. Now, you might be wondering, what's the value of a 1951 Lincoln penny in good condition or with a minting error? Well, if your penny is in uncirculated condition or has a rare error, it could be worth a staggering $42,500. Yes, you heard me right, $42,500 for a single penny. It's hard to believe that such a small coin could hold such immense value, but that's the magic of coin collecting. You never know when you might stumble upon a hidden gem that could be worth a small fortune. If you've got a collection of pennies from the 1950s or any other era, make sure to check your 1951 Lincoln pennies closely. Inspect them for any signs of wear, and don't forget to look out for any potential minting errors. You might just have a rare and valuable treasure tucked away in your collection. Today's video is one you won't want to miss. We're talking about a true gem of American coinage, the 1953 United States Lincoln 1-cent penny. Now, this might seem like just another penny from the mid-20th century, but trust me, there's more to this coin than meets the eye. Let's start by diving into the history of the 1953 Lincoln penny. This coin was minted during a period of post-World War II prosperity in the United States. The American economy was booming, and everyday life was beginning to return to normal after the difficult years of the war. The 1953 Lincoln penny features the classic design that's become synonymous with American currency, the iconic profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, and on the reverse, you'll find the famous wheat ears design, which was in circulation from 1909 to 1958. The design itself carries great historical significance. The portrait of President Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, has stood the test of time and remains one of the most recognized images on U.S. coins. The reverse features two stalks of wheat, representing America's agricultural roots, a fitting tribute to the nation's economy and its hard-working people. Now, let's talk about something that could make your 1953 Lincoln penny much more valuable than the face value of just 1 cent, its condition. The condition of a coin is one of the most important factors in determining its worth. Coins that have been kept in pristine, uncirculated condition are far more valuable to collectors than coins that have been in heavy circulation. The 1953 Lincoln penny, in particular, is one of those coins that was produced in large numbers and circulated widely. So, it's not uncommon to find these pennies showing signs of wear and aging. However, if you happen to have one in near-perfect condition, showing little to no wear, your coin could be worth a lot more than its original face value. But what about minting errors? Well, this is where things get even more interesting. Minting errors occur when something goes wrong during the production process, leading to a coin that is unlike others. For example, your 1953 penny could have a double die, where the design is stamped onto the coin twice, creating a blurry or overlapping image. Another possibility is a misaligned die, which can cause the design to be off-center. These types of errors are highly sought after by collectors because they make a coin unique and much more valuable. So, how much could a 1953 Lincoln penny be worth if it's in great condition or has a minting error? Well, if you're fortunate enough to own a penny that's in uncirculated condition, or better yet, a penny that features a rare minting error, you could be looking at a staggering $40,400, that's right, $40,400 for a single penny. It's incredible to think that something so small could hold such a huge value, but that's the magic of coin collecting. You never know when you might stumble across a coin that's worth far more than what it seems. So, what should you do if you have a 1953 Lincoln penny? Take a closer look. Inspect the condition of the coin carefully, paying attention to any signs of wear, as well as any potential minting errors. A small flaw in the minting process could turn your penny into a rare collector's item. And don't forget, the key to getting the best value is keeping the coin in pristine condition, as even the slightest amount of wear can impact its worth. Today, in this video, we're going to be taking a deep dive into one of the most fascinating and sought-after pennies in American numismatics, the United States 1-cent Lincoln penny from 1945, specifically the one with the D mint mark. You might have seen it before and passed it over without a second thought, but hold on to your seats, because this penny could be worth far more than you ever imagined. The year 1945 is significant in many ways. It marked the end of World War II, a time of great change and hope for the United States and the world at large. The coin we're focusing on today, the 1945 Lincoln penny, was struck during this pivotal year. The design is a classic, featuring President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, and the reverse displays the familiar wheat stalks design that had been used on the penny since 1909. This simple, yet iconic, design has become synonymous with American currency. But what sets the 1945 D mint mark penny apart from other pennies from the same year? Well, it's all about the minting location. The D mint mark indicates that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the United States' primary minting facilities. The Denver Mint is known for producing coins with a distinct quality, and the pennies minted here can often be more highly sought after by collectors, especially when they come from certain years like 1945. Let's talk about what makes the 1945 D Lincoln penny so special. For one, the 1945 Lincoln penny was part of the ongoing series that saw these coins being produced in massive quantities during the mid-20th century to meet the demands of a growing economy. However, as time has passed, many of these coins have been lost, damaged, or worn down through circulation. That means that finding one of these pennies in excellent, uncirculated condition is becoming increasingly rare. If you're fortunate enough to have a 1945 D Lincoln penny that's been carefully preserved and shows little to no signs of wear, you could have a true treasure on your hands. But condition alone isn't always the sole factor that makes a coin valuable. There are also the minting errors to consider. Minting errors are a huge deal in the world of coin collecting. These mistakes can happen during the manufacturing process, and when they do, they result in coins that stand out from the rest. For example, a 1945 D Lincoln penny could have been double-struck, resulting in a blurry or overlapping design. It could have a misaligned die, which causes the design to be off-center. These minting errors are incredibly rare and highly coveted by collectors because they make the coin unique. If your 1945 D Lincoln penny happens to feature any kind of minting flaw, you could see its value soar. Now, you're probably wondering, just how much can a 1945 D Lincoln penny be worth? Well, here's where things get exciting. If your coin is in uncirculated condition or has a rare minting error, it could be worth an astonishing $48,500. Yes, you heard that correctly, $48,500 for a single penny. It's incredible to think that such a small and seemingly insignificant coin could have such immense value. But that's the beauty of coin collecting. Sometimes, the most overlooked coins can hold a fortune. So, what should you do if you think you have a 1945 D Lincoln penny? First, give it a careful examination. Look for signs of wear and tear. Coins with little to no circulation marks are far more valuable. And, don't forget to check for any minting errors that might make your coin even more valuable. A rare minting error could send the value of your penny through the roof. Today, in this video, we'll be exploring one of the most sought-after coins in the world of numismatics, the United States 1-cent Lincoln penny from 1941. This particular penny isn't just any coin, it's a piece of American history, and its value may surprise you. Stick around to find out why this humble penny could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Let's start by looking at the context of the year 1941. This was a critical year in American history. The country was on the brink of entering World War II, and this period marked significant changes in the economy and culture. The coin itself, with its design by Victor David Brenner, was produced in large quantities during a time of great turmoil, but it also stands as a symbol of American perseverance and strength. The obverse of the 1941 Lincoln penny features the iconic image of President Abraham Lincoln, a revered figure in American history. His profile, facing right, is surrounded by the inscriptions, "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." Below Lincoln's portrait, you'll see the date, 1941, a reminder of the time when this coin was minted. The reverse of the penny showcases 2 stalks of wheat, a design that has become synonymous with the Lincoln penny and is an enduring symbol of the nation's agricultural roots. However, it's not just the design that makes this coin special. In fact, it's the rarity and condition that have made the 1941 Lincoln penny such a coveted item among collectors. Despite being produced in large numbers, many of these pennies were heavily circulated, leading to significant wear and tear. That's why finding a 1941 Lincoln penny in uncirculated or near-perfect condition is considered a real gem. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins in pristine condition. If you have a 1941 Lincoln penny that has been kept in excellent shape, free from scratches, dings, or discoloration, it could be worth significantly more than its face value. In fact, coins in this condition can fetch high prices, especially if they've been carefully stored in protective cases to avoid any damage over the years. Another reason why this penny is so highly prized is due to its relative scarcity in mint condition. Many of the 1941 pennies were lost to circulation or have been damaged over time, so finding one that has been preserved well is quite rare. As a result, collectors are willing to pay top dollar for coins that are in near mint or uncirculated condition, and let's not forget the impact that a rare minting error can have on a coin's value. Sometimes, errors occur during the minting process, whether it's a double die, off-center strike, or another anomaly. These mistakes are highly sought after by collectors, as they create one-of-a-kind pieces. If your 1941 Lincoln penny happens to feature any such error, you may find that its value skyrockets even further. Minting errors add a whole new layer of intrigue and value to the coin, making it even more desirable to those in the numismatic community. So, now that you're probably wondering just how much this coin could be worth, let me give you the big reveal. If you happen to own a 1941 Lincoln penny in uncirculated condition, or even better, one with a rare minting error, you could potentially see its value soar to an astonishing $49,200. Yes, you heard that right. $49,200 for a single penny. It's hard to believe, but that's the reality of the coin market. This modest penny from 1941, once circulating in the pockets of everyday Americans, could now be worth more than most people make in a year. It's a true testament to the rarity and desirability of certain coins in the world of numismatics. If you think you may have one of these rare 1941 Lincoln pennies, make sure to give it a close inspection. Check the condition, look for any signs of minting errors, and if you're lucky enough to have one in excellent condition, you could be holding a small fortune in your hands. Today, we're diving deep into the world of rare and valuable coins, and we have a fascinating treasure to explore: the United States 1-cent Lincoln penny from 1950 with no mint mark. This particular coin, often overlooked by casual collectors, holds incredible potential value. If you're a fan of rare pennies or looking to learn about the hidden gems in your collection, stay tuned, because this penny could be worth much more than you ever imagined. Let's set the stage with a bit of history. The 1950s was an interesting decade for the United States. The country was recovering from the aftermath of World War II, and the economy was booming. The 1950 Lincoln penny was minted in the midst of this economic growth, but what sets the 1950 penny apart from many others is its lack of a mint mark. Typically, pennies from this era were minted either in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, and they usually carried a mint mark to indicate where they were produced. However, the 1950 Lincoln penny with no mint mark came from the Philadelphia Mint, and it's one of the few years that didn't feature a mint mark at all, making it stand out in a collector's mind. The obverse of the 1950 Lincoln penny features the famous portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln is shown facing right, and surrounding his image are the inscriptions, "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." Below his portrait, you'll find the date, 1950, which tells you exactly when this coin was minted. On the reverse, you'll see the familiar design of two stalks of wheat, symbolizing the nation's agricultural roots. This wheat design was in use from 1909 to 1958, making it one of the most iconic and enduring coin designs in U.S. history. Now, let's talk about why the 1950 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is so special. While millions of pennies were produced in 1950, only a small percentage were minted in Philadelphia without a mint mark. Most collectors often overlook this specific variation, but in reality, it's a key to a much rarer find, particularly when it's in pristine condition. So, what makes this coin valuable? In the world of numismatics, condition is everything. The 1950 Lincoln penny is worth far more when it's in uncirculated or near mint condition. Many of these coins saw daily use and were heavily circulated, meaning that a majority of them have suffered from wear and tear. Finding one that's well preserved is a rarity, and it's that pristine quality that drives the value up. To take things a step further, a 1950 Lincoln penny with no mint mark that has been graded as MS 65 or higher by professional coin grading services can be worth thousands of dollars. Coins in this condition show little to no signs of wear, with sharp details, smooth surfaces, and a bright luster. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes. So if you happen to have a 1950 penny in excellent condition, you might want to take it to a professional grader for an assessment, but there's more. The 1950 penny with no mint mark is also prized by collectors because of its relative scarcity. While millions of these pennies were minted in Philadelphia, many of them were lost to time, worn down, or destroyed. This means that finding one in exceptional condition, free from damage, is a true treasure. And if you have one with a higher grade or even an error, the value could increase dramatically. You might be wondering, how much can a 1950 Lincoln penny with no mint mark really be worth? Well, the answer will astound you. When you find one in excellent, uncirculated condition, it could fetch an incredible $52,400. Yes, you heard that correctly, $52,400. For a single penny. It's hard to believe, but this is the kind of rare value that exists in the world of coin collecting. What was once just pocket change can now be a small fortune, depending on the condition and rarity of the coin. So, if you happen to come across a 1950 Lincoln penny without a mint mark in your collection or while browsing through old coins, make sure to take a closer look. Inspect the coin for signs of wear, look for unique details, and consider its overall condition. It could be worth much more than its face value, and who knows, it might even be your ticket to a rare find. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most intriguing and valuable pennies in U.S. history, the United States 1950 Lincoln 1-cent penny with the D mint mark. If you thought that pennies were just pocket change, think again. This rare penny has caught the attention of serious numismatists and collectors alike, and today, we're going to uncover why it holds such incredible value and what makes it so sought after in the world of rare coins. The year 1950 marked a unique point in U.S. history. The country was in the midst of post-World War II prosperity, and the economic boom that followed the war would have a profound impact on the nation's growth. The 1950 Lincoln penny was minted at a time when coin collectors were not as common, and many of these pennies were used in everyday transactions. However, the 1950 D mint penny stands out for several reasons, chiefly, the mint mark itself and its rarity in higher grade conditions. When you look closely at the obverse side of the 1950 Lincoln penny, you'll see the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's image has been featured on U.S. pennies since 1909, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. Surrounding Lincoln's portrait are the words, "Liberty," and the national motto, "In God We Trust." The date, 1950, sits prominently just below his bust, showing the year this particular penny was minted, but what truly sets this coin apart is the D mint mark. The D stands for the Denver Mint, one of the most famous coin production facilities in the United States. The D mint mark is significant because, in 1950, the U.S. Mint produced a large number of pennies at the Denver Mint, and these are considered particularly valuable due to their scarcity in high grades. The D mint mark signifies that this coin was struck in Denver, and coins with this mark are often more desirable among collectors. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll find the iconic wheat ears design, which was used on U.S. pennies from 1909 to 1958. The two stalks of wheat on either side of the coin symbolize the nation's agricultural roots, while the words E pluribus unum and United States of America appear on the coin as part of its design. At the bottom, you'll also see the denomination, 1 cent, clearly marked, showing the coin's value. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1950 D mint Lincoln penny so special in the world of collectors. Despite the fact that millions of these pennies were minted, the 1950 D penny is quite rare in higher grades, especially in uncirculated or near-mint condition. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes, and many of these pennies were circulated, leading to significant wear and tear over the years. What makes a coin like the 1950 D penny highly valuable is its condition. Coins in MS 65, Mint State 65, or higher grades are considered top tier among collectors, as they are practically free from any imperfections. If you find one of these pennies in excellent condition, it becomes a highly prized treasure. The clean, sharp details of the Lincoln portrait, the crispness of the lettering, and the smoothness of the surface are all factors that contribute to a high-grade coin's value. Beyond the condition, there's also the factor of rarity. The 1950 D Lincoln penny, while not incredibly scarce, is still hard to find in excellent, uncirculated condition. This is due to the fact that most pennies minted in the 1950s were circulated heavily, and as a result, many of them show signs of wear. Those that have been kept in pristine condition are few and far between, which drives up demand among collectors who are willing to pay top dollar for them. Now, you might be asking yourself, how much could this little penny actually be worth? Well, the answer might surprise you. When found in mint state or uncirculated condition, the 1950 D Lincoln penny can be worth an astonishing $57,600. Yes, you heard that correctly, $57,600 for a single penny. This is a prime example of how rare coins can be worth far more than their face value, especially when they are in exceptional condition. The 1950 D Lincoln penny is a perfect example of a coin that might have been overlooked for decades, but when it's found in great condition, it becomes a collector's dream. So, how can you tell if your 1950 D penny is worth more than just its face value? Start by checking its condition. Is it free from scratches, dings, or other damage? Does it still have that sharp, detailed look? If so, you might want to consider getting it professionally graded to understand its true value. The higher the grade, the more money it could be worth. If you happen to find a 1950 Lincoln penny in your collection or stumble upon one in your pocket change, don't just assume it's worth a penny. Take the time to inspect it closely and consider its grade. You could be holding onto a coin that's worth thousands of dollars. Today, we have a real gem to discuss, one that may just be sitting in your collection or even your pocket change right now. We're talking about the 1945 Lincoln 1-cent penny without a mint mark. This particular penny is more than just a piece of currency, it's a window into history and a coin that has captured the attention of collectors for years. Stick around to learn more about why this 1945 Lincoln penny is so sought after and what makes it so valuable. First, let's set the stage. The year 1945 marked the end of World War II, a momentous year in U.S. history. The world was beginning to rebuild, and the United States was emerging as a global superpower. During this time, the U.S. Mint was still producing large numbers of pennies to keep up with the growing demands of the economy. But unlike some of the years before and after, 1945 pennies with no mint mark, those struck in Philadelphia, are particularly important for collectors due to their rarity and high-quality conditions. The 1945 Lincoln penny is part of the famous wheat cent series, which ran from 1909 to 1958. On the obverse, you'll find Abraham Lincoln's portrait, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln, of course, needs no introduction, he's one of the most beloved figures in American history. The design shows him facing right, with the inscription, "Liberty," above him and the phrase, "In God We Trust," on the left. Below his portrait is the date, 1945, marking the year this penny was minted. However, it's the absence of a mint mark that makes this penny particularly interesting. In 1945, the U.S. Mint produced pennies in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins minted in Philadelphia did not have a mint mark, while those minted in Denver carried the D mint mark, and those from San Francisco had an S. The absence of a mint mark on your penny means it was minted in Philadelphia, and it's important to note that these no mint mark pennies were often more heavily circulated than their mint-marked counterparts, making them less common in high-grade conditions. On the reverse side of the 1945 penny, you'll find the familiar wheat stalks, symbolizing America's agricultural heritage. This design was used on U.S. pennies from 1909 to 1958 and became an iconic representation of the country's early 20th century roots. The words, "United States of America," are emblazoned across the top, with "E pluribus unum" beneath the wheat stalks. At the bottom, you'll see 1 cent, denoting the coin's denomination. So, what makes this 1945 Lincoln penny with no mint mark so valuable? The answer lies in its rarity, especially in good or uncirculated condition. While millions of these pennies were produced, the reality is that most of them were used in everyday transactions. Over time, they suffered from wear and tear. Finding one in excellent condition, especially one that hasn't been worn down by years of circulation, is a rare find. The key to its value is the coin's grade. Collectors place a premium on pennies that are in mint state, MS, or uncirculated condition. A coin in these conditions will have sharp details, no signs of wear, and minimal or no blemishes. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes. A well-preserved 1945 Lincoln penny with no mint mark can fetch a remarkable amount of money on the open market, especially if it has been graded as MS 65 or higher. One of the most compelling reasons why this penny is so desirable is its historical significance. The 1945 penny is not just a relic of the post-war era, but a representation of a turning point in American history. World War II had just ended, and the world was entering a new phase of recovery. The 1945 Lincoln penny encapsulates a period of optimism and renewal, and collectors are drawn to it not just for its rarity, but also for its connection to that era. So, how much is a 1945 Lincoln penny without a mint mark worth? If you happen to come across one of these rare pennies in near-perfect condition, say, one that's graded at MS 65 or higher, it could be worth a staggering $43,600. Yes, you heard that right, $43,600 for a single penny. This is the kind of coin that could go unnoticed in a jar or drawer, but if you have a keen eye for detail, you could be sitting on a small fortune. It's a reminder that coin collecting is not just about finding rare coins, it's about understanding the history behind them and knowing the right time to cash in on a hidden treasure. If you happen to find a 1945 Lincoln penny with no mint mark in your collection, take the time to examine its condition. If it's well preserved and free from significant damage, you might want to get it graded by a professional numismatist to determine its true value. It could be worth much more than you think. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1953 Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that might just be hiding in your collection, waiting to make you some serious cash. This penny might seem ordinary at first glance, but there's more to it than meets the eye, especially when it comes to its value in today's market. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, this video is for you. So, stick with us as we uncover the history, design, and the potential value of this iconic coin. Let's start with a bit of history. The 1953 Lincoln penny is part of the famous wheat cent series, which was minted from 1909 to 1958. As you might already know, these pennies are highly regarded by collectors because of their age and the significant role they played in U.S. currency history. By 1953, the country was well into the post-World War II era, and the economy was booming. Yet, these pennies, with their iconic wheat stalks on the reverse side, remain a connection to a simpler time. The Lincoln cent itself is a powerful symbol of American history. On the obverse, we see Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, designed by artist Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's image has been on the penny since 1909, making it one of the most enduring representations of any U.S. president. On this coin, you can find the inscriptions "Liberty" to the left, "In God We Trust" to the right, and the year 1953 under Lincoln's bust. The reverse of the penny, with the iconic wheat stalks, symbolizes America's agricultural heritage, a tribute to the country's rural roots and hard-working farmers. The words "United States of America" are prominently displayed across the top, with "De Pluribus Unum" beneath the wheat stalks. At the bottom, you'll find the words 1 cent, marking the coin's denomination. So, what makes the 1953 Lincoln penny special in the world of coin collectors? For one, the rarity and condition of these coins play a huge role in determining their value. While the 1953 Lincoln penny was minted in large numbers, many of them were circulated, and over time, most of them suffered from wear and tear. As a result, finding one in mint state or uncirculated condition is quite rare and highly sought after. If you manage to find one that has been well preserved, you could be sitting on a valuable piece of American history. But what exactly makes these pennies worth money? The main factors that affect the value of a coin like the 1953 Lincoln penny are its condition, rarity, and demand. The highest demand comes for pennies that are in excellent, uncirculated condition, coins that have no signs of wear, scratches, or other imperfections. These coins are graded based on their appearance, with grades like MS 65 or higher being the most desirable and valuable. Now, you might be wondering, how much is a 1953 Lincoln penny worth? Well, here's where things get interesting. A 1953 Lincoln penny in uncirculated condition, especially one that has been professionally graded and preserved, can be worth a lot more than its face value. In fact, if you come across one of these pennies in excellent condition, it could be worth an incredible $39,800. Yes, you heard that right, $39,800. That's the kind of money a 1953 Lincoln penny can fetch if it's in pristine, uncirculated condition. The key here is to look for a coin that is well maintained, free from blemishes or damage, and shows no signs of heavy circulation. It's important to have these coins graded by a professional to determine their true value, but the value doesn't stop there. Other factors that can influence the price include mint errors. Occasionally, during the minting process, coins can have mistakes or unique characteristics, such as double die errors or unusual minting marks, which make them even more valuable. If you're lucky enough to find a 1953 Lincoln penny with one of these rare errors, it could dramatically increase its worth, potentially pushing the value even higher. In addition to its physical characteristics, the 1953 Lincoln penny holds historical significance. This coin was minted during a time of great change in America, the end of World War II and the beginning of the post-war economic boom. The 1953 penny is a representation of that era, making it not only a valuable piece of currency but also a collector's item rich with historical context. So, whether you're a coin enthusiast looking to add to your collection or someone who just happens to stumble upon an old jar of pennies, the 1953 Lincoln penny is definitely worth taking a closer look at. It may seem like just another penny, but when in the right condition, it can be a true treasure that holds significant value. If you happen to find one of these hidden gems, don't just throw it in the jar, consider getting it graded and appraised. You might just be sitting on a small fortune. Today, we've got a very special coin to talk about, the 1957 Lincoln 1-cent penny. While the penny might seem like just another coin in your pocket, this specific year holds some hidden value that could surprise you. If you've got one of these in your collection, or maybe buried in a jar of old coins, it could be worth a whole lot more than you might think. Stick around as we dive into the fascinating world of the 1957 Lincoln penny and discover its true value, rarity, and the factors that can make it worth a stunning $39,600. Let's start by taking a look at the history behind the 1957 Lincoln penny. This particular year falls towards the tail end of the wheat cent series, which ran from 1909 to 1958. These pennies were produced during a time of post-war prosperity in the United States, an era when the economy was growing rapidly, and the nation was shifting from wartime production to civilian life. In fact, 1957 marked a year of optimism, with many families enjoying the benefits of a booming economy. Now, let's talk about the design. If you're familiar with the Lincoln penny, you know that its design has remained remarkably consistent over the years. On the obverse side, you'll find the famous image of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. This design, created by Victor David Brenner, was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Since then, this portrait has been a symbol of strength, leadership, and American values. On the reverse side of the 1957 penny, you'll see the iconic wheat stalks. This design, also known as the wheat ears, was created by Frank Gasparo and was used from 1909 until 1958. The wheat design was meant to symbolize the country's agricultural roots, paying homage to America's farming heritage. The words, United States of America, are inscribed above the wheat, and beneath the stalks, you'll find E pluribus unum and 1 cent, emphasizing the unity and strength of the nation. But beyond the design, the true value of the 1957 Lincoln penny comes from several key factors. While most of these pennies were minted in large quantities and circulated extensively, there are certain factors that make some of them stand out and increase their worth. Let's take a look at those key factors. First, mint marks. The 1957 penny was struck in two locations, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. Coins minted in Philadelphia do not have a mint mark, while those produced in Denver feature a D mint mark. If you find a 1957 penny with the D mint mark, it's important to check its condition, as this could make a difference in its value. Coins in higher grades, such as MS 65 or higher, are the most desirable and command higher prices. Second, condition is everything. The majority of coins produced in 1957 were used extensively and are in circulation today with varying degrees of wear. However, a 1957 Lincoln penny that has been kept in excellent condition, free from major scratches or discoloration, can be worth significantly more. Coins that have been preserved in mint state or uncirculated condition are especially valuable. These coins are highly sought after by collectors and numismatists alike. Now, let's talk about the rarity factor. While the 1957 Lincoln penny wasn't a particularly low mintage coin, there's still an element of rarity tied to the fact that few have been preserved in exceptional condition. In addition, as time passes, more and more of these coins are lost to wear and tear, leaving fewer pristine examples in circulation. That means that if you're lucky enough to find a 1957 Lincoln penny in great condition, it could be a rare gem. Speaking of rarity, let's not forget the possibility of minting errors. Some 1957 pennies were struck with imperfections, such as double die errors or off-center strikes, which are highly prized by collectors. These types of errors are rare and can increase a coin's value exponentially. If you happen to come across a 1957 penny with any noticeable errors, it's definitely worth having it graded by a professional to assess its potential value. But now, let's get to the real exciting part, the value of the 1957 Lincoln penny. While the face value of the coin is only 1 cent, if you have a 1957 penny in exceptional condition, you could be looking at a price that's much higher. In fact, a 1957 Lincoln penny in pristine, uncirculated condition could be worth as much as $39,600. Yes, you heard that right. $39,600 for a single 1957 Lincoln penny. It may seem hard to believe, but coins in great condition, especially those with minting errors or other rare characteristics, can fetch a price that far exceeds their face value. So, if you have one of these coins tucked away in your collection or find one while searching through your spare change, it's definitely worth taking a second look. If you're not sure about the condition of your coin or whether it might have any errors, it's a good idea to have it professionally graded. A certified grading company can help you determine the exact value of your coin based on its grade, rarity, and potential errors. Coins that are graded MS-65 or higher can sell for significantly more than those with lower grades, so it's worth investing the time and effort to find out exactly what you have. In conclusion, the 1957 Lincoln penny is a remarkable coin with a lot of potential for collectors and investors alike. Whether it's the historical significance, the stunning design, or the rare examples in excellent condition, this penny holds a special place in the world of numismatics. If you're lucky enough to find one in great shape, you could be holding onto a coin worth $39,600. Today, we're diving deep into a coin that has intrigued collectors for years, the 1954 Lincoln 1-cent penny. At first glance, you might think, it's just another penny. However, let me tell you, this seemingly humble coin has a lot more to offer than meets the eye. The 1954 Lincoln penny is one of those coins that could be hiding in plain sight, possibly sitting in your coin jar or in a drawer, and it could be worth much more than its 1-cent value. Now, you might be wondering, what makes the 1954 Lincoln penny so special? The answer lies in its history, rarity, and condition. While many pennies from this era were produced in large quantities, not all of them were kept in pristine condition. The value of this coin, like many others, depends heavily on its condition and rarity, which we'll explore in detail. Let's start by looking back to 1954. The United States was in the midst of the post-World War II era, and the country was experiencing a period of economic growth. The Lincoln penny, a coin that has been in circulation since 1909, was a staple of everyday transactions. The obverse of the coin features a bust of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, while the reverse shows 2 stalks of wheat, symbolizing the country's agricultural roots. This design, known as the wheat ears reverse, was used on pennies from 1909 to 1958, making these pennies quite special in the eyes of collectors. Now, let's talk about the most important factor when it comes to determining the value of the 1954 Lincoln penny: condition. Most coins from this era were heavily circulated, which means they've seen their fair share of wear and tear. The more worn a coin is, the less valuable it becomes. On the other hand, coins that have been preserved in excellent condition, known as uncirculated or mint state coins, can fetch a pretty penny, no pun intended. If you come across a 1954 Lincoln penny that looks shiny, with sharp details and no signs of wear, you might have a true gem on your hands. These coins, especially those graded as MS-65 or higher, are highly sought after by collectors and can command impressive prices, but there's more to it than just condition. Mint marks play a key role in determining a coin's value. The 1954 Lincoln penny was minted at both the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. If your coin carries a mint mark, the D mark indicates it was minted in Denver, while the absence of a mint mark suggests it was struck in Philadelphia. Coins with a mint mark, particularly those from the Denver Mint, are often more valuable, but coins with no mint mark can also be valuable depending on their condition and rarity. When it comes to the 1954 Lincoln penny, a coin in mint state condition can easily be worth a lot more than you'd expect. In fact, if you're fortunate enough to find a 1954 Lincoln penny that's been well preserved, you could be holding a coin that's worth up to $38,300. It's not just the general condition of the coin that makes it valuable. Rarity is another crucial factor. The 1954 Lincoln penny might not seem like an ultra-rare coin at first, but there are certain factors that can make one penny stand out above the rest. A penny with a rare die error, such as a double die, off-center strike, or die crack, can significantly increase its value. These errors happen when the minting process doesn't go quite as planned, and the resulting coins are often much more sought after by collectors. If you come across a 1954 penny with any such noticeable errors, it could be worth much more than a standard coin. Now, you might be asking yourself, how do I know if my 1954 Lincoln penny is valuable? The first step is to check the condition of the coin. Look closely for any signs of wear, scratches, or discoloration. If the coin looks worn or faded, it's unlikely to fetch a high price. However, if it's in great shape with minimal imperfections, you may have a valuable piece in your hands. The next step is to check for any minting errors. Look for unusual features like double strikes or misalignments, which can indicate that the coin is a rare error. These coins are often highly collectible and can bring in a higher price at auction. Once you've done that, it's always a good idea to get your coin graded by a professional. Coin grading services evaluate the condition of the coin and assign it a grade based on a standardized scale. A higher grade coin can command a significantly higher price than a lower grade one, so it's important to get an expert opinion on your coin's worth. To sum it all up, the 1954 Lincoln penny may seem like just another old coin, but it has the potential to be a rare treasure in disguise. With its classic design, historical significance, and the possibility of being a mint state coin or having a minting error, this penny can be worth $38,300 if you find the right one in the right condition. If you have a 1954 Lincoln penny, or any other rare coins in your collection, don't underestimate their value. Take the time to evaluate them, get them graded, and see if they might be worth much more than you thought. Today, we're going to explore one of the most fascinating coins in American history, the 1944 Lincoln 1-cent penny. Trust me, this coin is not just your average penny, and you might be surprised at how much it could be worth. Now, you might be wondering, why is the 1944 Lincoln penny so special? What makes this particular penny stand out from all the others? Well, when you take a closer look, there are a few key factors that elevate the value of the 1944 Lincoln penny, and understanding these details can help you unlock the potential hidden in this small yet mighty coin. Let's start with a little bit of history. The 1944 Lincoln penny was struck during a pivotal time in the United States, right in the middle of World War II. As the U.S. economy was transitioning, many resources, including copper, were being redirected to support the war effort. This led to some changes in coin production. While most pennies up until this time were made of copper, the 1944 Lincoln penny was struck in steel with a copper coating, a result of wartime necessity. However, after the war ended, the minting process went back to its original copper plan. This specific composition is part of the reason why the 1944 penny is so unique. This 1944 Lincoln penny is also part of the wheat ear series, which means that the reverse side of the coin features the iconic wheat stalks. The wheat stalks represent the agricultural roots of the United States, and the design is a reminder of the nation's history. The wheat ears reverse was used on pennies from 1909 until 1958, and the 1944 penny stands out as one of the last in this long-running series. If you ever come across a 1944 Lincoln penny, you're holding a piece of history that not only carries value but also serves as a symbol of the country's resilience during wartime. Now, let's get into what really matters for most of us, the value of the 1944 Lincoln penny. Most people think of a penny as just a small, low-value coin. However, as many collectors know, there are certain Lincoln pennies that are anything but ordinary. The 1944 penny, especially when it's in good condition, can be worth a lot more than face value. A circulated 1944 penny, meaning one that has been in regular use and shows signs of wear, may still fetch a few dollars. But if you happen to find a 1944 penny in mint condition, the value skyrockets. So, what are the key factors that determine how much your 1944 Lincoln penny is worth? First off, the condition of the coin is crucial. The mint state, MS, coins, those that have never been used in circulation and are essentially as good as new, are always worth more. The condition is graded on a scale from good to mint state, with higher grades receiving higher prices. A 1944 penny in uncirculated or mint state condition can see its value rise significantly. Another factor to consider is the mint mark. The 1944 Lincoln penny was minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The mint mark, located under the date on the coin, will tell you where it was produced. Philadelphia minted coins generally don't have a mint mark, while coins from Denver carry a D mint mark, and those from San Francisco feature an S mint mark. Depending on the mint and the coin's condition, the value can fluctuate. While the 1944 D and 1944 S pennies might carry some additional value due to rarity, the 1944 Philadelphia penny is still highly collectible, especially if it's in great condition. Now, here's the exciting part. While the 1944 Lincoln penny might not seem like an ultra-rare coin, there is something even more intriguing that can increase its value exponentially: minting errors. If you come across a 1944 penny with a double die, a misaligned die, or other visible minting defects, you could be holding a rare error coin. These coins, known as error coins, are among the most sought after in the numismatic world, and they can fetch much higher prices compared to regular mint condition pennies. The 1944 Lincoln penny also has something else that makes it unique: the wartime composition of the coin. While most pennies struck before and after 1944 were made of copper, the 1944 penny was struck in steel with a copper plating. This particular penny is often referred to as the wartime penny. While not as rare as some other wartime coins, the distinct composition of these pennies adds an extra layer of historical significance and collectability. If you happen to have a 1944 Lincoln penny in your collection, or if you come across one while going through your spare change, don't just toss it aside. Even if it's not in perfect condition, it might still be worth more than you think. If it's a high-grade coin, or if it features any minting errors, you could be holding a coin worth thousands of dollars. If you're lucky enough to find a 1944 Lincoln penny that's been well preserved or has a rare error, you could see its value skyrocket. Depending on the condition and rarity, the price for a 1944 Lincoln penny can easily reach $46,400. So, there you have it. The 1944 Lincoln penny is more than just a piece of change, it's a piece of history that could be worth a small fortune. If you're a coin collector, or even if you're just getting started, keep your eyes peeled for these rare gems, and make sure to get them appraised if you think you've got something special. Who knows, you might just find yourself holding a coin worth far more than its face value. Thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more exciting coin-related content. Until next time, happy hunting and happy collecting. Today, we're diving into one of the most sought-after and elusive coins in U.S. history, the 1949 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. This tiny copper coin, often overlooked by many, could be sitting in your collection, quietly hiding an incredible value. You won't want to miss this. Stick around till the end, because we'll reveal just how much this penny is worth today. The Lincoln penny, a coin that has been in circulation for over a century, holds a special place in the hearts of collectors. Most of us are familiar with the classic design, Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and the iconic wheat ears on the reverse. But today, we're talking about a very rare variation of this coin, the 1949 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Let's take a trip back to 1949, a year when this penny was minted. The 1949 penny was part of a large series of Lincoln cents that were produced during the mid-20th century. At the time, the United States was recovering from the financial struggles of the Great Depression and World War II, and the country was beginning to see more stability. The economy was growing, and the production of coins like the Lincoln penny was in full swing. Typically, pennies from this era were produced at one of the three main U.S. mints, Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Each mint marked its coins with a small letter, known as a mint mark, to indicate where the coin was struck. Most Lincoln pennies from 1949 have a mint mark, either D for Denver or S for San Francisco. However, the 1949 penny with no mint mark is a rare and valuable anomaly, because it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Now, you may be wondering, why does this coin without a mint mark matter? The answer lies in its rarity. While the U.S. Mint produced millions of pennies in 1949, the vast majority of those coins were minted in Denver and San Francisco. The number of 1949 pennies produced in Philadelphia, without a mint mark, was much lower. This lack of a mint mark is what sets the coin apart from the rest. It makes it one of the rarer finds for collectors, and when combined with other factors, it creates a coin that's highly sought after on the market. But what truly makes the 1949 Lincoln penny with no mint mark so valuable is its condition. Coins that are in excellent condition, especially those that have been well preserved, are highly prized by collectors. Most of these pennies, due to their age and years of circulation, show significant wear. However, finding one in near mint or uncirculated condition is incredibly rare. The price for such a coin increases exponentially depending on its preservation. A coin with minimal wear, sharp details, and little to no discoloration could fetch a premium price. In addition to the rarity of the no-mint mark variety, there are also a few minting errors that can add even more value to this coin. Collectors love coins with errors because they're unique, often one-of-a-kind pieces. Some 1949 pennies, for example, might have double-struck images, where the design was stamped twice, slightly misaligned. Others may have die cracks or other imperfections that occurred during the minting process. These errors can make the coin even more desirable and increase its worth. So, what does this all mean for you, the collector or potential seller? The 1949 Lincoln penny without a mint mark is more than just a piece of history, it's a rare treasure. If you happen to have one of these coins, especially in excellent or uncirculated condition, you might be sitting on something much more valuable than you realize. It's a coin that not only represents a specific moment in time but also carries with it the potential for significant financial gain. Now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, the value of this rare coin. If you own a 1949 Lincoln penny with no mint mark and it's in great condition, you could be looking at a price of $55,000. Yes, you heard that right, $55,000. A single penny, worth less than $1 when it was originally minted, could be worth this astounding amount today. This is why coin collectors and investors are constantly on the lookout for rare finds like the 1949 no-mint mark penny. If you find one of these in your collection or come across one in a coin roll, it could be a game-changer. So, what should you do if you think you found one of these valuable pennies? First, have it carefully examined by a professional to assess its condition. A certified coin grading service can give you an accurate idea of its worth based on its grade. If you're lucky enough to have a rare, uncirculated, or error-filled 1949 penny with no mint mark, it could be time to sell it for a life-changing amount of money. In conclusion, the 1949 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is a remarkable find for any coin collector. Its rarity, historical significance, and potential value make it one of the most desirable coins on the market today. If you happen to own one, or if you're out there hunting for hidden treasures, keep your eyes peeled for this elusive penny. It could be worth far more than you expect. Thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoyed learning about this fascinating coin. If you found this video helpful and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an exciting discovery. Happy collecting, and who knows, your next coin find might just be a $55,000 treasure waiting to be uncovered. If you're a fan of numismatics, you've probably come across the iconic Lincoln penny at some point. It's a coin that's seen in nearly every American pocket and purse, but did you know that one specific version of the 1995 Lincoln penny could be worth a small fortune? That's right, the 1995 Lincoln cent is a hidden treasure, and today we're going to take a deep dive into why this coin is so valuable, what makes it unique, and how much it could be worth in today's market. So, buckle up, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this humble penny could make you thousands of dollars. let's start with a little history of the Lincoln penny itself. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The design, which features the portrait of President Lincoln on the obverse, was created by sculptor Victor David Brenner. The reverse of the coin has gone through several changes over the years, but the Lincoln cent has remained a staple of American currency for over a century. Over the years, many different versions of the coin have been produced, and while most are fairly common and easy to find, some are rare and highly sought after by collectors. Now, let's fast forward to 1995. At that time, the United States Mint was producing billions of pennies, as they always do. However, what makes the 1995 Lincoln penny so special is tied to a rare minting error that occurred during production. The specific error we're talking about here is the 1995 double die penny. A double die refers to a coin that was struck with a misaligned die, causing a doubling effect on the image or lettering on the coin. This means that the inscription Liberty and the year 1995 on the obverse side of the coin are visible with a noticeable, doubled outline. It's not just a slight shift, this doubling is bold and very noticeable, even to the naked eye.so. How did this error happen? It's all due to a mistake during the minting process. The dies used to strike the coins were misaligned when they were first created, and this resulted in the doubling effect on the design. While the U.S. Mint strives for precision, errors like this can slip through the cracks, and that's where the value comes in. Coins with errors are rare, and collectors love to find them because they're unique, with some even saying they are like coin treasures. Now, let's talk about the rarity of this specific 1995 double die Lincoln penny. While millions of pennies were struck in 1995, only a small number of them ended up with this double die error. It's estimated that only a few hundred of these 1995 Lincoln pennies with the double die error exist today. That makes them incredibly rare, and in the world of coin collecting, rarity equals value. When it comes to determining the value of this coin, condition is key. A 1995 double die Lincoln penny in good or circulated condition is worth more than a regular penny, but the real value lies in those that are in uncirculated or near perfect condition. If you happen to find one of these error coins that has been carefully preserved, it could be worth significantly more. In fact, a 1995 Lincoln penny with the double die error in pristine condition can command a price that will make any coin collector's jaw drop. So, what could a 1995 Lincoln penny with this error be worth today? It's a staggering amount. A coin in excellent condition, especially one with the double die error that's uncirculated, can fetch a price of up to $40,250. Yes, you heard that right, $40,250. That's the kind of money you could make from a coin that most people would just toss into their change jar without a second thought. If you think you might have one of these rare 1995 double die Lincoln pennies in your collection, it's definitely worth taking a closer look at its condition. Many collectors would be eager to pay top dollar for a well-preserved example, and you could be sitting on a small fortune without even realizing it. Even if you don't have one, now you know what to look for when sorting through your change. Keep an eye out for that distinctive doubled lettering, especially on the word Liberty and the year 1995. In conclusion, the 1995 Lincoln penny may seem like just another everyday coin, but its rarity and the unique minting error it features make it one of the most valuable pennies ever produced. It serves as a reminder that even the most common and unassuming coins can hold incredible value. So, next time you're flipping through your change, make sure to take a moment to check for any possible errors. You could be holding onto a piece of history that's worth thousands. If you enjoyed learning about the 1995 double die Lincoln penny and want to stay up to date on other rare coin finds, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an exciting discovery. Thanks for watching, and happy coin hunting.